Hey everyone, it's Aaron Hughes from FuDog Group. I have had a very busy Sunday. I've been working with Mike and Jennifer, the co-founders of FuDog Group, and we have been building out a whole bunch of things for what's coming up this week. And then in September, we've got our event, Seekers of Power. We got a couple seats left. Hit me up if you want a seat or you want to know more about that. But we've been building pieces for the rest of August and into September. Been a busy Sunday. And so I'm looking at the clock and it's like 6:15 my time as I record this. And it was one of those moments where like, oh man, it's getting late. It's like 8:15 Eastern. There's going to be a bunch of people who can't see this because, it's getting late and I'm only getting around to this now. But I have had a streak of videos and I'm not breaking the streak today. So late or not, I'm getting this video out. And what I want to talk about today is something that has to do with efficiency and productivity, which I've been talking about a lot. It has to do with leadership, which I've been talking a bit about as well. But it's kind of this higher level topic, and it's something that I never really considered until I got into the world of FuDog and built FuDog with Mike and Jennifer, and then we were thinking about like what are the pieces that really create change and transformation in people's lives. And I've come to discover that this one thing that I'm going to call identity is really such a transformative concept that affects everything in your life. And I'm only going to talk about one small slice of it today, but I want you to think about identity and how it can affect everything in life. Maybe you'll take the things that I say and broaden it out beyond just the topic I'm talking about. And maybe I'll talk about identity later in the future too, because I love the topic and it has been so central to my own kind of personal growth in the years. So I'm going to talk about identity, but I'm going to talk about it specifically in the sphere of work. And I'm going to use an example from my own life. So when I was a kid, when I was growing up, the only thing I ever wanted to do in life was be a writer. That's it. Other kids wanted to be, a firefighter or an astronaut or something. I just wanted to be a writer. And that was the case for years. And every chance that I had to write, I would take that opportunity. And I excelled at that type of thing in school. And I probably ignored other things like math or science because I saw myself as a writer. And so I would push myself farther in sort of those types of academic work. Then when I got in my teenage years, just right at the end of high school, I couldn't figure out how to be a writer. There were only a few writing careers that I was aware of. One was like journalism, which I had tried a bit and not enjoyed it. I felt like an ambulance chaser, to be honest. And then the other kind of writing career was an author of books, but I couldn't figure out how to put those pieces in place. So I had this identity crisis in my late teens because I saw myself as a writer ever since I was a kid, but I got to my teen years and I had this identity crisis and I didn't know how I was going to do the one thing that I thought I was meant to do in life. So I went and I went to college and studied other things, and I tried my hand at different types of careers, some in like financial and some in sales, but always in the back of my mind, I didn't feel entirely aligned with the work I was doing in school, in my studies, or in these sort of new jobs, these post-college jobs, because I still saw myself as a writer. And so finally in, I guess about 2005, I had tried writing professionally a few times before that, but in 2005, I really locked down what it meant to be a writer and how I could do it as a job. The internet was just starting to become this open field of opportunity, and I figured out I could write for different people who needed content on the internet. So finally, Aaron the writer, my writer identity, finally found its footing in the opportunity of writing for the internet, for internet businesses in 2005. And my business, my copywriting business grew from there. And that was the case from 2005 all the way up to like 2018, roughly. I was a writer. I loved it. I had up years and down years, but I always felt aligned who I was and what I was doing. There was this match between the two, and it was perfect. Even when it was hard, it was perfect. Then in 2018, I started this little bit of a transition, and I was offered a job for one of my clients. I was offered a career or like a position as marketing director. And that was like 2018, 2019 in there. I'm a little fuzzy on the dates, but it was this transition out of being a copywriter into being a marketing director. And I'll tell you, it was a challenge to make that shift because I saw myself as a writer ever since I was a kid, and all of a sudden here I was now not being a writer. And really the only way I got around it in my mind was kind of this the fact that like writing and marketing director were pretty like overlapping topics. And so the work I did as a writer continued, but then the marketing director piece picked up as well. So I could still, I could lead a team, for example, and I could help them write and do other creative marketing pieces, but I was still able to write. And so that was a bit of a challenging transition as Aaron, the writer, started to question, am I still aligned with my identity? And I felt that I was, but not 100%. And so I was starting to feel the separation. Then in 2021, FuDog Group was born. Mike and Jennifer and I, we started FuDog Group, and we focused on personal growth, personal development, peak performance, helping people grow in every area of their life. And here, my identity really became challenged. Now, don't get me wrong, I love what I do at FuDog Group. I love it. But I was challenged because Aaron the writer was okay with being Aaron the marketing director, but all of a sudden I was something else. What was I? And I explored these different things of like Aaron the integrator, which is kind of like a COO type of thought. It's a little bit different, but in simple terms, let's say integrator, COO, I was kind of that role, and that felt good and aligned to me as a new identity, and I held that for a little while. But I realized, well, Mike and Jennifer and I all realized that if we wanted to grow ourselves and grow FuDog, we needed to ascend even out of CEO and COO types of roles, like those chief executive roles, and move into an identity that was different, an identity of that would help FuDog Group grow instead of being capped by our identities. And so we've really moved into these co-founder and chairman types of roles. We moved into an investor role as we look at building like a fund, like a private equity fund or a capital fund, that type of thing. So we've moved out of like chief executive officer type of roles into chairman or co-founder and investor roles. And once again, this is so interesting to me, once again, I really started to feel aligned. And so in just to review my history, like as a writer, I struggled with when I wasn't a writer, and then I was a writer for a long time. And then the marketing director was a little bit off, and I felt like maybe my I wasn't quite running on the track when I was switching from marketing director into this other thing, like a COO role. But now I have this new identity of Aaron the chairman, Aaron the co-founder, Aaron the investor. And even though that's not Aaron the writer like I thought, like I had dreamed of for so many years, I feel so good about being in this role. I love Aaron the chairman, Aaron the co-founder, Aaron the investor. It is an identity that really resonates with me and what I like to think about and how I like to show up at work and in the world. And so here's why I'm telling you all this. This is kind of rambling. I'm kind of getting caught up in my story a little bit, but here is why I am thinking about all of this stuff. Because each one of us has an identity about our work. And again, I'm only talking about the work sphere, but what's true about the work identity is also true about other identities that you might have in your life as well. But we each have an identity about our work, about how we show up. Maybe you're a teacher and you're like, you are a teacher. Now, if you were suddenly pulled into another job, would you feel that same identity? But maybe you always felt that you were this other thing and you're doing a teacher job now and you don't feel aligned because your identity is this, but you're working in this other type of role. So your identity plays such a huge part in how you think about yourself, how you show up, and then also how you feel aligned with the work that you do. And when you don't feel aligned with it, your productivity drops, your job satisfaction drops. When you do feel aligned with your work, suddenly you're seeing new opportunities. They're appearing everywhere, and you love what you do, and you can't wait to get to work and serve other people and help them in whatever way that you work. So I want you to think about, what is your identity, and is it the job that you do right now? If it's not, maybe it's time to think about something, some other different job, or finding a way to realign your job with your identity. If it is, if your identity does match your job, then that's great, and you probably see a great level of satisfaction and productivity in what you do. But maybe there is another level of going deeper into that identity and excelling even further at your job. All right, this was kind of a high-level topic for a Sunday at now it's like 6, almost 6:30 my time, maybe 8:30 your time. It's kind of a deep topic, but I love thinking about this because I feel when you nail your identity and understand who you are, you start to discover how you can really show up in the world and add value and find great satisfaction in what you do. So you've got a little homework, I guess, to do on this Sunday evening, and that is to give some thought to your identity and some thought to your work and decide, are they aligned or not, and what are you going to do about it? All right, everyone, have an amazing Sunday. We'll see you through the week.